And we are back with round 4, the final bit of Swiss bracket before these players move on to the gold, silver, and bronze brackets. This time in our showing, we've got two of our top players on the B side of bracket. We've got Jelly Squids facing off against Kintusgi, as these two have undefeated records. And once again, these ones are looking to see who's going to be able to keep their record and who is going to get swept away. Granted, swept away in this case is probably still going to be a nice, cozy gold placing, but it'll be fun to see how these players play against each other initially, so that later on the bracket, if they play against each other later, we can see how, or the future commentators can see how they've adapted.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that these are two heavyweight teams here. I think if I check back in the bracket, these are the only two undefeated teams left in Group B for this Swiss stage here. So I think the winner here will have anointed themselves almost as the team to beat here from the B side. And we are going to get started right away in Splats and Sparkle and Dimes. You see a 96 gal deco here on the side of what I believe to be Kintusgi. And Octobrush on the side of Jelly Squids, along with a Forge, Splattershot Pro, and a Hydra Spline. That's 2 Booyah Bombs and a Junior to go for Jelly Squids here. And two do immediately go down on the side of Jelly Squids. They're going to have to be forced to back up here. And yeah, Kintusgi getting settled into zone really easily. As the Carbon does go, or the 96 actually does go forward, gets taken down. Now the Carbon tries to make its way onto Plat. Gets pushed back for now, but Kintusgi doing a really good job holding zone, not really going down too hard. Although you do see one Booyah Bomb coming out. It might not quite be enough to cap. Let's see if the second one can do anything. Yep,
Ooh, that one's helping. That really made that was enough impact. That was enough push to kind of make things work out in their favor. And now it is definitely in their zone. They're looking to try to hold it for as long as they possibly can. Out comes the Kraken. I don't know how much impact... Oh, no. This is definitely going to do a little bit of damage here as these players are a little scattered. They don't have a way to be able... That one didn't have any good way to escape. And then the brush was kind of just forced to push, which left them nice and exposed for the rest of Deco's teammate to be able to kind of push through and get that counterplay and take him out. Which means that now with the Octobrush, again, don't make those aggressive jumps. It doesn't matter if you have quick respawn or quick jump. You don't make those jumps unless you know for a fact it's safe, because otherwise you're landing for a clean splat. And
especially
then you're just...
if you don't have cooler, which Jelly Squids does not have any cooler to work with here, so those jumps can be very punished here. As Kintusgi is going to be able to take them back. They're 10 points away from getting a lead, but can they hold it? 96 is down. The pencil goes down as well. Cactus with the crab does get taken down here. Really good set of kills there by Jelly Squids, who can move forward here with 2 down. They get full control of Kintusgi's plat. And the Octobrush does get taken down by a really good pencil shot from Westy there, who's trying to retake from the far right side. The Kraken is out for Kintusgi. They're going to try and make something happen there. The far left alley, they're chasing one back. The Zuka comes too, but not before a Booyah Bomb comes out to respond with it. The zone is in a period of being contested right now. As 3 go down, a wipeout.
It's a wipeout!
Out of Kintusgi, and they're able to move forward with haste right now. They have a crab ready. We'll see if they can get any advantage out of that, but for now they're in perfect position to take lead here. And you can see Cactus just waiting for Jelly Squids to kind of get in range for them to get a good crab with good value. They pop it here. They're trying to target the person on snipe behind. They have to watch for the Zitcaster going forward, as they do take the lead here, but not before the Booyah Bomb can come in. And a bubble also gets set up on zone. A second Booyah comes. Jelly Squids, they're throwing all the stops. They do get the zone back, but not before 3 go down. 4 go down. That's a delayed wipe for Jelly Squids yet again. Kintusgi can go even farther now.
That's so unfortunate too. That they used all of their supers to be able to take that, essentially. And then they've just lost that tempo, and they're going to have to grind up all of those big impactful plays. The 2 Booyahs, that bubbler that they were really looking for. They've already got him up quickly, and another one is thrown out. That is a lot of pressure, but it's not enough to even contest the zone. Now they finally are able to start doing a little bit of painting. Out comes another Booyah trying to take that player out, but no! The pencil is going to be able to escape safely, but that is paint output. They're not able to perform, and now Now it is definitely on Jelly Squid's turn to try to make this push, try to hold this ground. This Octobrush is not having a good day here as they are continually getting picked out and called out by Kintusgi,
Oh,
who get another really solid catch throughout the sprinkler. And with a lot of players lost on their side, the brush left, there's nothing they can really do, and this is just going to be back in Kintugi's control.
oh.
Trying to jump away and again punish this Octobrush, just not getting to do any participate in the fight at all right now, and it's really definitely hurting Jelly Squid as like they're basically playing with a three-man team because that Octobrush just has not had the opportunity to contribute like they want to. Again, down to the Kraken now. It really feels like their build is just designed to play hyper aggressive, which is cool. But the problem is that you can play hyper aggressive, but if you don't play smart, then you're just dying. And it's like this isn't like Marvel Rivals where you could just run up and be the tank. Everybody's only got like 6 health. You take 3 hits and you're dead.
Yeah, as Kinsugi does manage to clamp down to get the knockout there. Really good job mitigating the Octoburst, like you said, mitigating the double Booyah Bomb comp, and really just being in good position to take advantage of people like the Octoburst who really were struggling to get the right angle to kind of make the most of their sharking weapon, make the most of their role as the aggressive slayer there, like you said. And really good job by Kinsugi to get that win there. Yeah.
Indeed. And we'll be moving over to the next game, Tower Control and Ink Blot Art Academy. This is a pretty fun one for Tower Control. You have both sides have their strong area to kind of hold and defend. And then that central area kind of turns into a tower, which just means it's really opened up and it's a lot easier for things to just kind of fly wild and for battles to kind of go crazy. There's a lot of opportunities for just like I think this is another really good stage. Like, I'm speaking as somebody who doesn't talk about or doesn't get to do too much commentary for Splatoon stuff these days, so I apologize if I seem not as smart as some of your other commentators here. But I mean, it makes sense that the stages that are left are all really good stages for comp. But yeah, this stage is really good for Tower Control because it has a really clean path for both sides. It has a lot of room for players to kind of move around, a really strong defense, and it's got that natural narrative of trying to build up into the opponent's base. If you want to win in Tower Control on this map, you have to know how to play from disadvantage. Like, the tower does give you a little bit of height and a bit of guard to kind of work with, but you need to know the map. You need to play around the fact that there's a lot of situations where you will be disadvantaged, especially if you're not on the tower, and you need to be able to utilize the more interesting aspects of this map to be able to make things work.
And I think the thing that I'll be looking for the most here is how Jelly Squids can respond to not having a cooler, if that is what they go with like last game. Because I think that what you said, that plays a lot into how coolers work. How Kinsugi is going to be able to keep up the aggression more just because when they die or when they get traded out, they're going to have less penalty. And you do see the exact same comp for both teams. It looks like a Splash, Carbon, Pencil, 96 knife Kinsugi, and Octobrush, Hydra, Forge Pro, and Splattershot Jr. on the side of Jelly Squids here. So it is going to remain cooler this year for Jelly Squids. They do get a really good opening kill on the 96, and the Carbon also goes down as well. It's 2 really important kills also on Kinsugi before they can get their own cooler up, as the Cactus is going to have to pop that crab out pretty early just to defend that first check, but it's not going to get too much value because that Booyah Bomb, and Jelly Squids is going to easily get past first checkpoint here. Although 2 do go down here, and it looks like that'll be the extent of that push. The Carbon finishes off the Hydra spotting on tower. It is just a Junior who is far back on left side here now. And now Kinsugi, after giving up a moderately sized opening push, can start to think about getting forward. As that Kraken getting some value on plat, charging up all the way in the back. That's going to make those 2 people there spread out some more. And we'll see who comes out on top of that fight soon. No deaths yet, as the finally able to take down the 96 there. But not before the Hydra does get down to what I believe is the Carbon. 2 are down for Jelly Squids, and 3 go down. Actually, they're wreaking havoc on the bats there. as the brush is just kind of isolated. They're gonna have to dive towards tower. They force them off, but not for taking down. I think that was a kind of desperation play there. As Kintusgi gets the lead, but not before the Carbon is finally taken out on bats, and they looks like are able to kind of isolate that push a little bit and finally put a stop to it there.
Indeed, they finally have a chance to be able to try to hold this ground. They lost the lead. It's their turn to try to push back and reclaim that lead. The Booyah trying to just create space, but that was really just a time where there was nobody there. Maybe caused a little bit of scattering, but not really anything of true impact. And it's just created this situation now where they're lacking the Booyah. They're lacking the answer to be able to stop this actual push. Maybe it got baited out. And now they're just kind of put into a really difficult position. This Octobrush, again, still, I'm not really seeing a much impact from them. I know they're trying their best, but they are just constantly losing these ranged games and getting powered down. It's the brush left, now the junior. They're just rotating being dead.
Yeah, and Kintusgi, they get past the third checkpoint too, and that's gonna be it. They KO, thanks to a wild rush of aggression that carried them all the way to a KO there. Really good job of just making sure Jelly Squids never got comfortable, never really had a chance to settle back into mid for a potential counter push. They kept the aggression all the way to a 10 that whole game, and it completely worked out. Wonderful game by Kintusgi there to win the set and take a 2-0 lead heading into game 3.
Indeed. It is not over for Jelly Squid here. I mean, it's not going to be necessarily that important for them to win this last game, as that's not going to lead to any kind of sorts of tiebreaker. But it's still nice to be able to get that little bit of redemption. It's good to be able to demonstrate that you are learning from the matchup and you are responding to what your opponent has, to be able to kind of respond to them, challenge them, and say, no, you're not going to be able to take us in the next one. That also said, there's a little bit to maybe you let yourself get stomped here. Maybe this is a situation where we get to see Jelly Squids be really experimentational and be like, we're going to pick something really random and wild that we're definitely not going to win with, but is something that is going to just help us get a better understanding of what Kintusgi is doing and how we can beat it. Because, like I said, you're probably going to see these two teams later in the bracket unless there's a very unfortunate circumstance where both of them get decimated off stream. But there's a real chance that the two might fight again later on in the bracket. So right now, this final game, since this is all locked in, I mean, it was locked in before, so these two were kind of playing to get a read on each other. And this game is 100%. Let's just figure out what they're doing. Let's try to stop them. Let's try to get an answer for what they might have cooking so that when the beans are on the table, we're going to be able to just confidently squash and quelch them.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the map here, it's humpback zones. I think if there's any map where there's Octobrush player for Jelly Squids is going to get going, it's this map. This is a great Octobrush map to really take advantage of the hilly mid almost, where there's a lot of cover, there's a lot of off angles that make other like shooter type weapons harder to use here. I think that we might be able to see a better game from the Octobrush compared to the first two games. I think that it's also a good carbon map, so we'll see if Nigel for Kintusgi is able to get some good plays with their carbon like they have been getting all set here. And you do see a Zimmy instead of a Hydra on the side of Jelly Squids. That's two bubbles along with the junior, and they're both going to be getting a lot of those bubbles, so it'll be very interesting to see how that goes into Kintusgi's comp, which remains the same as the first two games. You see an early grab from Cactus going from the far right here, trying to get some chip damage there, but two go down, but the carbon and the pencil on the side of Kintusgi, and the splash is going to get taken out as well. That's 3 down early, and a really good positive momentum swing from the side of Jelly Squids here. As they can get settled in, they can maybe start thinking about getting a flank on. The Kraken is in zone, but if they can mitigate that, they'll be able to take them out easily there, as Kraken wisely does back up to the far left. The Brush is going to go for the kill there and get it there. They pop Zip, looking for another kill to continue that streak. They find the carbon and get a trade off it. That's a great trade. Even though there is no cooldown on the side of Jelly Squids, it puts a dent in what Kintusgi wants to do on their retake here.
Definitely gave a nice opportunity, and especially if that Brush is played in a way where they're not necessarily feeding, but they're just trying to scare the other team, then this is like their opportunity. This is definitely shaping up to be a lot more of the stage where This brush is just getting to play the menace style. Oh,
Oh,
you saw they tried to run away from the splat bomb, but realized that the space behind them was already like they couldn't get away fast enough. They kind of ran into the wall a little bit, and they got a little lost and were like, "Wait, but I could just move forward again." And then by the time they locked into a decision, the bomb was already off and they died.
yeah, but look at Kintusgi there, getting, despite that bomb kill, despite everything that happened before, they were able to get 2 down and get a good retake there. I think that's something they desperately needed, but I think we got to watch out for Joey Squids here. They do get the zone back, but I think they need to fully get Kintusgi out of mid before they can start feeling comfortable again. As they do see 3 go down on the side of Jelly Squid just like that. I'd be very wary here with Kintusgi. They've shown that they can be a dangerous team. I think Jelly Squid's going to be very patient. They can't rest on their laurels. They can't rest on that huge lead that they have now because it could be chipping down. There he goes. The crab rolls over the Octobrush. Oh, it's a brutal kill there. And it gets another kill on the junior on the far side of the map there. That's a great crab that got a ton of value. Can really open up this game for Kintusgi here. As Booyah comes on Zoe, but no one is there to act on it. They're just going to be painted over. But a bomb does get the splash. Let's see if Joey Squids can be able to get something there. The brush goes down, but unfortunately for Kintusgi, the other 2 members there are able to recap zone, and Joey Squids applies a penalty there.
Indeed, very, very nicely done. We see Itchy trying to find a way in, but just completely pinned down, and the Octobrush just coming in to finish the job off. Natto really coming in with this chase. We do get a trade here, managing to take out the roller, though. Aggression for aggression is definitely a trade we are more than happy to take in those kind of circumstances, especially when you're in advantage and you're just needing to stall. Especially when you're just wanting to waste as much time as possible so the opposing team does not have the opportunity they're looking for. But we do see a wipeout finally happen, and Kintusgi now back in the front, back in push, and you see how aggressive they are too. Not only like instead of just like lining up against the wall like we've seen other teams do, they're actually all just rushing in from different angles into that zone, while their backline just confidently tries to hold onto the center area, and is actually doing a phenomenal job as that Zipcaster actually not doing the work it was hoping for.
Yeah, but look at those bubbles there. There was one on the plant there to distract, and there was another that was able to be put on zone behind. Really good job to mitigate the effect of the crab there and get zone back for Jelly Squids, who is now settling into a less and less penalty. I think this penalty could be going down quickly, but the brush does go down. There's a jump there. Can the 96 take advantage of that? No, the jump's able to smooth away, and the 96 is bombed out through a bomb off the wall. Kintusgi does manage to take back zone throughout all that chaos, but Jelly Squids gets it right back thanks to the kills there. The 96 has a Kraken ready right off the jump. There's paint on zone now by the Splash, who also has a crab ready. The Carbon goes down on the far side, and the 96 goes down after the Kraken too. The Splash is forced to jump out, and Jerry Squids, the really nice hold there to secure their hold on zone. 2 do go down on their side, but not before taking out the pencil, which will be really pivotal in these last 30 seconds here. The crab does fall in the zone, gets 2, and forces the last one, the junior, to retreat here. So now Joey Squids is going to maybe need to think about resetting here in these last 20 seconds. They have time. They have a moderate penalty, and they have a lead on top of that, but they're going to need to try and be patient, get a good retake, get paint on, maybe get a bubble. I'll see them in the Booyah. They do have a Booyah charge. They also have a bubble. On the side of Kintusgi, they got to be really careful here. They're making sure they don't get overwhelmed by the specials they have. You see the Booyah being popped, going to be thrown at zone.
They don't have any specials to respond to this.
2 down, and that they will not be able to respond there. As Jelly Squids gets 1 back there. They do lose the set 2-1, but a really good hold there to finish the game as they go out of the set with at least 1 win to carry them through into playoffs.
Indeed. Like you said earlier, we got to see the Octobrush actually get to do their job better. Unfortunately, the previous 2 stages probably were just bad matchups and situations where the opposing team was just able to get a better read and call on the situation. Where, this time, got to see the Octobrush play fully in its field, in its element, and also really good use of like 2 big bubblers. I really like the choice to swap over to the Zimmy instead of sticking on the Hydra. A lot more proactive, a lot more supportive of the team. Definitely helped out that Octobrush, and just having somebody else who's kind of like Hydra can do a lot of that pressure as well, but Zimmy just means that it's a lot easier you're more engaged with the rest of the group, and you're going to be able to put yourself in positions where the Octobrush might be able to see, oh, the shark that's trying to punish the Zimmy, which is our quote unquote backline, I can actually get over and help you now because you're not halfway across the map. And then just having things like the two big bubblers meant that, like that big pincer play that we saw earlier, just allowing for very strong defensive situations where the opposing team, unless they just drops all of their supers on both of the big bubblers, there's not really much they can do to respond to the situation. And we saw them end up kind of struggling to keep their footing because of that. Jellyfish might have something to think about as they move into the gold bracket and anticipate a future fight with Kintusgi. And Kintusgi, I imagine, is also kind of sitting there being like, well, that didn't go well. But because they didn't win, now they're going to sit down and be like, well, if we see that happen again, how are we going to respond to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both these teams are going to be threats to watch heading into gold bracket coming up soon. But yeah, really, really good set here, especially that last game, which is back and forth till the very end here. But yeah, that'll be it for Swiss stage of this tournament, and that'll be it for us here as we transition into different commentators coming up for gold bracket. Where can we find you, Believe, here for the future?
You can find me at believe.bluesky.social. I have a few. Otherwise, you're probably gonna only find me through Discord, which is typically Believe as well. But your best bet is just to go find me on Blue Sky. That's the main place that I do things. I post like whiteboard doodles during my shifts at work because it's a very boring job right now, and I end up doing a lot of fun drawings. It's great. What about you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter on Blue Sky at DHVF28. I don't really post there, but if you want to find me, I'm there. I'm also the captain of Rainfall and we're a Div 7 team. We're playing a lot of similar tournaments to the teams that we've seen today. So if you see us around, say hi. It'll be good. We're always happy to get to know more people. But yeah, that'll be it for us. It was a pleasure to commentate today, and we hope to see you again soon.
Indeed. And we will see all of you in a little bit as our next line of commentators come over and we get to see some more epic Splatoon action in Tristrike Tuesdays. Be right back.